Your attention, please. Welcome to the Night Sports Arena at Southern Virginia University for today's men's basketball matchup featuring the captains of Christopher Newport University and your Southern Virginia University Knights. President Wilcox and the Southern Virginia staff, thank you for your support of the student athletes and coaches participating in today's contest. In the spirit of good sportsmanship, they ask you to respect the following SVU athletic rules. Cheer loudly and proudly for your team, not against the visitors. No profanity, vulgarity, racist or sexist remarks. No personal remarks towards players, coaches, or officials. Show that you know the game. Stay away from the playing area and team bench areas. Zero tolerance for alcohol and tobacco use at all contests. Thank you for your cooperation and go Knights! In accordance with tradition at Southern Virginia University, we will begin with a word of prayer which will be offered by Colby Wilson.
Our Father in heaven, we are so grateful for the opportunity that we have to gather in this arena, for the opportunity to watch this wonderful game of basketball. We are so grateful for the hard work that all the players have put into this game, and please bless that we can have good sportsmanship tonight and that we can enjoy the game. Holy Father, we love thee and we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Now, if you will all please rise and face the flag for our national anthem.
Welcome to Knight Sports Arena for today's match of the second half of a doubleheader here between the captains of Christopher Newport and your Southern Virginia Knights.
And starting lineup, starting with number 18 ranked in the nation, Christopher Newport. Number 1, Luther Gibbs. The leading scorer for this Christopher Newport team, Marcus Carter. Also joining the captain's starting lineup, number 10, Tyler Feemy. Number 20, Jason Ainer, the top 5 in the CSC for three-point percentage, shoots around 44.3%. And the CSC Player of the Week last week for a showing against the Bobcats of Frostburg, number 52, Savante Chappell. Head coach for the captains is John Krikorian. And now the starting lineup for the Southern Virginia Knights.
At forward, a 6'3" junior from Salem, Utah. Number 10.
First up, number 10, Neil Davis, the football star turned into basketball icon here at Southern Virginia.
Junior from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Questionable he was going to play today, but joining him in the backcourt, number 23, Jameer Cross. Leads his team in scoring with around 15.3 points a game.
From Dietrich, Idaho.
The freshman sensation from Dietrich, Idaho, Trey Dill, leads this Knight squad in rebounding, always has the nose for the ball.
6'3" junior from Bluffdale, Utah. Number 30.
Joining them on the court, number 32, Alec Johnson, usually plays the point guard position for this Knights team. And at center, standing at 6'10", Tyler McCready.
And the Knights ready to take on the number 18 team in the nation. You mentioned Jameer Cross. Coach Winslow was telling us before the game, he was a game-time decision. He's had some problems as far as injuries is concerned, and so it looks like he's going to be on the floor tonight.
Absolutely. It should be a big game for Jameer Cross. So explosive, has so many different ways he can hurt you in the paint, from the three-point line, pulling up from the elbow. So many ways he can hurt you, and expect him to go off in this game and just do what he does. Hopefully his ankles won't hinder him too much on the offensive to defensive side of the things. It's going to be really exciting to watch him play tonight.
Absolutely, especially on the defensive side. He's one of, if not the quickest player on the team, and so they will need him to play that shutdown defense that he is capable of playing against this top-tier offense with the captains. And the captains, of course, you see on the bottom of your screen, are 13-2. The Knights are struggling 4-11 schedule. I mean, don't let the record fool you. The Knights have been really close to some very competitive teams. Just this past week at Salisbury, went down to the wire, had a massive comeback to make it a very tight game. And so we'll see if the Knights can pull off the upset here today.
And look at the two players lined up for the jump off. 6'10", Tyler McCready, and 6'2", Marcus Carter.
As Tyler McCready wins the jump, and now Jameer Cross will handle it for the Knights.
Dawson, it needs to be said that this captain's team loves to play small ball. Right now, the tallest person on the court is number 52, Savante Chappell, standing at 6'5".
Good recovery by Trey Dill. Missed three-point from Alec Johnson. Fast break by Christopher Newport. Fast break layup is good by number 1, Luther Gibbs, the junior from Culpeper, Virginia. Now, go ahead, Chris.
This CNU, I was just about to say, this captain squad averages right around 77.9 points per game. And a lot of those come because they play so small, from three-point shots and getting to the paint. Much like NBA style of play, where they don't believe in big guys with their back to the basket. Their biggest guy right now, especially on the floor and on basically the entire team, is Savante Chappell, 6'5", 285 pounds, a behemoth there on the court.
Trey Dill for three, and that one just barely grazes the rim, and so we'll go back to the captains. And you're right, talking about Chappell, he's a massive human being, so he's going to be a tough one to handle there in the paint as far as strength is concerned. Christopher Newport with it now. Chappell with it. And the layup is good by number 3, Marcus Carter. And the ref's going to stop playing. So number 3, Quincy Jones is going to check in for Jameer Cross. Man, that was a little bit of a test run for him to see how he felt while being on the floor. And now Coach Winslow opting to have Jones in there.
Like you said, Dawson, the option of Jameer Cross playing tonight against the captains was a kind of a minute-by-minute decision, we were told by Coach Winslow. His ankles are hurting him. They've been hurting him for a couple days now. And like you said, maybe just a test run that first couple minutes in the game. But he's out now, and it is Quincy Jones. We'll see what Quincy Jones can bring to this team. He's a little bit undersized, but compared size-wise, he matches up perfectly with this captain squad.
I just saw some great defense from there from Tyler Femai as the Knights turn the ball over. Jason Egner. Pass inside to Chappell, and it's up and good. And the Captains have started off really fast, building up a 6-point lead already. Quincy Jones with it now, gets to Neil Davis, who dribbles in against Chappell. It's not going to fall. Now we'll go back to the Captains. Chappell for 3. That one's no good. Rebounded by Carter, excuse me.
And Marcus Carter, yes, he leads this team in points per game with around 15 per game. He also leads his team in rebounding. A 6'2" guard leading his team in rebounding. Absolutely sensational.
That was a good circus shot there by Marcus Carter that falls in. Makes it 8-0. McCready with it. Dribbles in. Gets it tipped away. Marcus Carter with it going in. And that's going to be an and one for the Captains as Quincy Jones came in there the last second trying to disrupt the shot. We see Kellen Winslow and Silas Slaughter checking in for the Knights. Silas Slaughter making his Knights debut.
It's Knights debut at home in front of these Knights faithful.
Kellen Winslow and number 1, Silas Slaughter.
And Silas Slaughter is a freshman guard from Redondo Beach, California. As the timeout is called here, and already the Knights find themselves in kind of a hole.
He's just looking inside the huddle right now. Coach Winslow just puts his hands up. He's like, guys, we're down 10-0, and it hasn't been 3 minutes into the first half of this game so far. You've let them run you in transition to death already, and it's already to your detriment. You're down double digits. Why they're not feeding Tyler McCready in the bottom or down to the paint on offense, I do not know. They have him running on the three-point line, playing more of that role of distributor over the ball. He's up against Chappell. Yes, he's 285 pounds, but the next tallest guy on this roster is a 6'8" freshman that hardly gets any minutes. So if I'm Coach Winslow at this point, I'm getting it to Tyler McCready and just testing it. He's top 5 in the CAC for field goal percentage, so he's going to get some shots to fall. Just need to kind of dip your toe in those waters and just see.
He absolutely does, as Marcus Carter's at the free throw line for the Captains. First one is up. Actually, it's the end one, so the only one is up and good. So Silas Slaughter with it now.
Really excited to see what Silas Slaughter can bring to this Knights team. The 5'10" guard from Redondo Beach, California. His first year of NCAA basketball. We'll see if he can have an instant impact on this Knights squad.
Jones with it now, jump shot. And that one's good. The first points for the Knights on the night. And also Quincy's first points as a Knight. Captains working with it now. A great tip away by Tyler McCready. Jones with it now. Pass it to Slaughter. He goes up and it's good. Make it 11-4.
That's a strong finish by Silas Slaughter. But I really like what the Knights did on the defensive side. Go ahead. Basically telling the Captains, go ahead. Give it to Chappell. Chappell's 6'5". McCready's 6'10". We want that matchup all day.
And just like that, 2 straight possessions where a Knight has made his first points in a Knight uniform. Quincy Jones and Silas Slaughter. And that three-pointer is good from number 20, Jason Egner.
That's what he does, Dawson. Again, like we mentioned, top 5 in the CAC for three-point percentage. He's number 5, shoots 44.1% from 3. That's outstanding. The Knights need to keep an eye on Egner this entire game.
And that's a good bucket by Quincy Jones. Excuse me, when I said earlier, both of them's first points as a Knight meant here at home in Knight Sports Arena. And that's a great block by Tyler McCready. But it's going to go to the outside, and that's a good 3 by number 1, Luther Gibbs. The Captains starting off very strong shooting-wise.
Not only strong shooting-wise, Dawson, they already have 2 offensive rebounds in this game.
Trey Dill with the jumper, getting it to fall.
Dawson, I was talking to Coach Winslow before the game, asking about what they're going to do to keep CNU at bay and get some offense of their own. He really mentioned the name Trey Dill. because CNU likes to play so small, Tradill at that kind of larger forward position almost can play a guard. He's so quick and has such good ball skill. Tradill stands at 6'6". He's a great matchup for anyone on the CNU team.
Absolutely, and Tradill will be very important as Tyler McCready got that rebound. Jones handed it to Winslow. To McCready, the jumper from the elbow, and that's good. Make it 17-10. And the Knights jumping out pretty well from the field already.
Really well from the field, shooting 62.5% in this game. Real big testament to their practice. They've started off the last few games here at home absolutely atrocious from the field.
And that three-pointer is good by number 10, Tyler Femai. Kellen Winslow with it now. Tries to hand it off to Silas Slaughter. And they're going to call a foul on number 11, Kellen Winslow. They're calling him with a block, but he was the one with the ball. I don't know how you get called for a block when you have the ball.
It is definitely an interesting call because Kellen Winslow, he has the ball, but somehow gets called for a block like you mentioned.
And so we'll have a media timeout here early on in this first half. The Knights find themselves down by 10. Finding some success offensively, though, with some good jump shots from Tyler McCready. And, again, just needing to figure out how to stop the Captains defensively.
Absolutely, Dawson. They shot fantastically from the field, 62.5%. But the Captains have shot even better. Right now, they're 8 of 11 from the field, 72.7%. They're 3 of 5 from the three-point line. That's 60% from beyond the arc. That's absolutely unconscious shooting. Knights need to find something to stop CNU at this point because they're just running whatever they want to on offense and finding the way to put it in the basket.
Well, absolutely. It's kind of looking like that. Christian Newport's doing very well at spreading the ball around so fast where it's hard for Knights defenders to recover and therefore getting them open three-point shots. Very difficult early on, but Coach Winslow, I'm sure in this time around here will provide a plan to figure out how to get out to those wide-open three-point shooters.
And also how to do better on the boards. Right now, CNU out-rebounding the Knights 5-1, and the Knights have this significant height advantage. You have Tyler McCready, 6'10", almost 6'11", and to not be able to get rebounds and allow them to get the offensive rebounds that they have. The Knights have no offensive rebounds. CNU has 2. The Knights need to do better on the boards, especially with the height advantage they have. They just can't give up 6-7 inches, but also give away 6-7 rebounds.
They cannot, as the Captains will start with it, inbounded by Luther Gibbs. Number 22, Elijah Bowens, the freshman guard from Bowie, Maryland, is taking the point. Captains working with it, passing it very quickly. Beasley in the middle. Good close up on Michael Newfield. And they're going to call a foul on number 1, Silas Slaughter, as he extended out his leg.
Foul is on number 1, Silas Slaughter.
And again, good call. I mean, he stuck out his leg trying to prevent the quick drive to the paint.
Good call, and I don't think it was an intentional trip by Silas. He was just trying to get in the way of the charging Luther Gibbs, and just his foot just got caught up in Gibbs' shin.
Three-point attempt on the right side is no good. That was Adrian Beasley on that attempt. Kellen Winslow with it now. Hands it off to Slaughter. Slaughter with a jumper, and that's going to fall. The shooter's bounce. And Silas Slaughter making his home debut a good one as he already has 4 points. Three-point attempt on the outside is good by number 20, Jason Agner.
And you mentioned Silas Slaughter. He's making a good impact early, especially on his home debut, but he's 2 of 2 from the field. So he's shot good shots. He hasn't taken 4 shots.
As he takes another jump right there. That one's way too short. As Luther Gibbs was defending. Now Knights down by 11. Bowens in the top. Now Gibbs. Bowens in the corner, dribbling in. A great pass, but a rebound by Michael Newfield as number 14, Tyler Trimble, not able to convert.
Dawson, I think Newfield got away with the foul right there. You saw Newfield's hand just slap across the shoulder of number 14, Tyler Trimble.
And number 22, Elijah Bowen's guilty of the fouls. He's trying to get in between the handoff between Kellen Winslow and Quincy Jones. As you see, Alec Johnson and Jaron Anderson checking in for the Knights.
Jaron Anderson is one of those players, Dawson. We haven't seen him recently in a few games, but Jaron Anderson is one of those players that can hurt you, much like Jameer Cross, any way he wants to. He shoots impeccably from beyond the three-point line, but he can also make his way to the basket. He's just a really crafty player.
Yeah, actually fouled out last game against Salisbury when he was leading the team in points at that point. And then, yeah, we'll talk about that game later at halftime, but as now Jaron Anderson with the ball. Goes up for the jumper, and that's going to be off the backboard and off. Rebounded by Brock Guyman. A spin around jumper, and that's hit by number 13, Grant Yates, the freshman forward from Gainesville, Virginia. Alec Johnson with it now. Dribbling in, gets out to Trey Dill for three, and that's good! A great open three by Trey Dill.
Great three-point shot by Trey Dill, the freshman from Diedrich, Idaho. Leads the team in rebounding. He's second in the team in scoring, and he's third in the team in three-point percentage. So he can just hurt you in so many different ways. Such a great player and such a great asset for Coach Winslow, especially as just a freshman.
Absolutely. As number 30, Adrian Beasley makes that jumper for CNU. Great pass attempt to Trey Dill. Trey Dill regaining his balance and possession of the ball. Johnson with it. Trey Dill for three at the top of the key, and that's good! Two straight three-pointers for the freshman Trey Dill.
And now Trey Dill leads scoring for the Knights and leads scoring for the entire competition. He has 8 points on the night. He shot 2 of 3 from the three-point line and 3 of 4 from the field. Great showing by Trey Dill.
Yeah, after that fast start by Christopher Newport, we were all kind of wondering what's the response. Well, Trey Dill's part of that right now as the Knights making a single-digit game here.
And so far, Dawson, the Knights have taken really good shots. They're not forcing shots. They're 8 of 13 from the field. That's 61.5%. That's really good field percentage. It is the opening parts of this first half, so we'll see that change as the game goes on. But if it stays the same, that's going to be such a change from what the Knights have seen in their previous games.
Absolutely. Again, we talked about Salisbury's game a little bit, and again, we'll mention more of that as the highlights at halftime, but SVU coming so close with such great teams the past couple of weeks, coming within 2 points or even less in some cases. SVU trying to finally make a statement win here in conference play, and they could do that if they continue to play as well as they have past half minute or so.
Absolutely. The Knights in their last couple games, they've just been just a hair short of what they need to do. They start off the game slow, and unlike those games, they started off the game today really well. Just unfortunately, they've run into a team that has a little bit hotter of a hand than they do. CNU shooting 68.8% from the field. That's remarkable. And 4 of 7, 57.1% from beyond the arc. So, yes, the Knights have started off extremely well. Just unfortunately to them, CNU has started off just a little bit better.
As the captains have the ball out of that timeout. A good steal by Kellen Winslow. Alec Johnson was the one who got his hand in there to knock it away. Winslow at the top of the key. Slaughter with it. Now to Anderson. Anderson having a hard time handling it. Slaughter dribbling around the screen. And that's blocked out of bounds by number 52, Savante Chappell. Goodness.
That was a really brave drive by Silas Slaughter. He just came up against a player that was a lot bigger than him in Savante Chappell, and just a great block by Chappell.
That's Kellen Winslow inbounding it for the Knights. Slaughter with it to Johnson. Shot clock winding down. Alec Johnson took one too many steps as he tried to step through, and so it'll be a turnover for the Knights. We're just having the floor wiped up here as the ball will go to the captains.
And just Coach Winslow having a little bit of a word with freshman guard Silas Slaughter, saying in that last possession, Alec Johnson He picked up his dribble a little too early. He didn't have anywhere to go with it, and Silas Slaughter didn't really move and give him a look to kind of relieve that pressure. Just giving him just a little word of advice that next time that happens, you need to move your feet, get yourself in a position where you're of some use.
Good hands from Kellen Winslow as that ball is recovered by number 22, Elijah Bowens, but he tried to pass behind his back, and it goes out of bounds.
Elijah Bowens just trying to get just a little too fancy, and that ball looked for his guard, but instead found out of bounds and found some Knights fans.
As you see Tyler McCready and Neil Davis check in for the Knights, as Trey Dill and Kellen Winslow will come out. Slaughter will bring it up the court. Neil Davis, who checked in, had a big night against Salisbury. Came in, has some very clutch shots as he gets a rebound right there off the block shot. Jaron Anderson with it, back to Johnson, to Slaughter. Slaughter with a three. No good, rebounded by number 3, Marcus Carter. Three-pointer attempt. No good, rebounded by Neil Davis. The attempt was by number 20, Jason Egner. Alec Johnson with it. And Tyler McCready for the easy fast break score. Assist goes to Jaron Anderson.
And it all started with the great work from Neil Davis, able to get on the ground and get that ball and play that scrappy style of basketball. We love watching Neil Davis play.
Sam Armstrong checking in for the Knights as Tyler McCready defending. And that's a good, strong finish by Marcus Carter. Alec Johnson with it.
In the last possession, you can't really tell too much of Tyler McCready. He was right there. He got a full forearm on the shot. Just a great finish by Carter.
Alec Johnson had a decent look, but unable to finish it as Jaron Anderson is going to be guilty of a push. As he kind of went towards Marcus Carter as he was heading his way down the court and made contact with him.
You just saw Anderson, as soon as Carter beat him off the dribble, you saw Anderson lean his knees and hips into him. You can't do that, especially at the baseline or at the sideline. They're going to call it every single time.
Sam Armstrong checking in for the Knights. Three-point attempt to the corner is no good by number 33, Nick Parks, rebounded by Tyler McCready. Sam Armstrong, son of Professor John Armstrong here at Southern Virginia University. He's a great three-point shooter, has made some very clutch shots here for this Knights team throughout his career.
Well, Sam Armstrong leads this team in three-point percentage, shoots around 40.4%. So when he's in the game and he has an opportunity at the three-point line, expect him to pull the trigger no matter what.
Jaron Anderson with a jumper, too far. Rebound by Sam Armstrong.
You just saw the captains kind of over-jump that rebound, and it gave Armstrong an opportunity to just pick it up uncontested.
McCready, the jumper is good from the elbow. Make it a 7-point game. A lot of great offensive rebounding there for the Knights just then as the captains have it now. McCready working against Chappell. Carter with it. Now to the corner to Gibbs. Dribbles in. But somehow gets it back out. Shot clock expires and Jaron Anderson with the rebound. Alec Johnson for three. Off to the right, no good. Rebound by Sam Armstrong. Dribbled in by Alec Johnson. Missed again, but rebounded. This time by number 3, Marcus Carter.
And Carter showing why he leads captains in rebounding. Just always knows where to be.
That three-pointer's no good. Rebounded by Chappell. Blocked by Tyler McCready. Neil Davis with that now.
Tyler McCready so far in his game absolutely welcoming Savante Chappell to Knight Arena, denying almost every shot the Chappell's put up.
Armstrong to Jaron Anderson. And a nice scoop-de-doop layup with the left hand for 2 points.
That's great court awareness by Jaron Anderson. Knew that he had Carter on his back, so to switch hands to his not dominant hand, put it up. Just a great play by Anderson.
Gibbs with it. And a steal by Alec Johnson. Tyler McCready getting his hand in there. Johnson with the left hand. But the block is going to be called on the captains. More specifically on number 10, Tyler Femai.
Tyler Femi, his first personal, team second. Checking in for the captains, number 14, Tyler Trimble. And for the Knights.
And Quincy Jones will be checking in for the Knights. As we'll media timeout here at Knight Sports Arena.
And Dawson, with this timeout, if you're Coach Winslow, you have to be so proud of your guys and what they've shown in the last 4 or 5 minutes. They've stepped it up on offense. They played phenomenal defense. Whenever it gets into the paint, Tom McCready or Jan Anderson are just swatting it or getting it, pressuring it to a point where it becomes an impossible shot to make. The only thing that I would say the Knights need to improve is their defense on the three-point line. The captains are getting too many shots from beyond the arc, too many open shots, and lucky for them, the captains have cooled down from beyond the arc. They were shooting right around 60%. Now they're down around 40. Still really good percentage from the three-point line, but definitely not what it used to be.
Absolutely. As you see the Knights faithful here at Knight Sports Arena tonight. If you checked in with us in the earlier broadcast of this doubleheader with where the women's basketball team defeated number 25 ranked CNU, the women's team of this same CNU they're playing right now, it was electric. They stormed the floor. It was quite the sight to behold.
It was an absolutely amazing game, Dawson. And the thing that does for this men's team is that it keeps people in their seats. No one wants to watch a really bad game. They're going to go home, they're going to go do their homework or whatever they need to do late on a Wednesday night. But because of such a great game happened with the women against the captains of CNU, everyone stayed in their seats, and there's still that electric atmosphere that the Knights love playing in and that people and opposing teams hate to play in. Such a small, condensed arena filled to the brim with people and filled to the brim with noise. It's an absolutely electric environment to be in and a great stage for basketball.
It absolutely is, as Alec Johnson's first free throw is up. And it falls in as he pulls it within 4 points for the Knights. And of course, mentioned the women's, they just had the 13th win in a row as Alec Johnson gets that second free throw to fall. The Knights hoping to follow suit and take down Christopher Newport as well. Alec Johnson being subbed out.
Talk about Alec Johnson just a little bit. He does so much for this team. The junior guard from Bluffdale, Utah. He plays that point guard position, that floor general role for this team. And just the thing he's able to accomplish on offense is just staggering.
The shot is up and no good. Rebounded finally by the captains. And rebounded again by Tyler McCready as he had to bounce on the floor to avoid a travel or a double dribble.
You saw Tom McCready. He looked like he was going for the jump pass and maybe looking for a Neil Davis. Probably looking for Sam Armstrong, if we're being honest. But the pass wasn't there. Able to slam it against the ground. It's really high basketball IQ play there, even to avoid the mistake.
Sam Armstrong with it now. Step back, the jumper. And that's going to fall for the baseline. Over top at number 3, Nick Parks.
Dawson, now it's a 1-point game. Knights are right back in this.
Knights playing a 2-3 zone. In the corner for Gibbs. Now the corner 3 from Christopher Newport, no good. Rebounded by Carter. And that three-pointer for Nick Parks will fall. Neil Davis with it now. Quincy Jones lit, as you see. Michael Newfield will be checking in here in just a few moments. Be a reach-in call here on number 14, Tyler Trimble. Trimble, the freshman forward from Warrenton, Virginia.
Checking in again for the Knights, number 45, Michael Newfield.
And as expected, Newfield will check in for Tyler McCready.
Just to give Tyler McCready just a little bit of a break and a breather. Get him probably in the last minute of this first half and then carry him out into the second half.
Quincy Jones with it. To Davis, barely able to catch that one. As he fumbles it around, that'll be a jump ball and it'll go to the captains.
Jump ball, possession arrow is to the captains.
That was number 3, Marcus Carter, getting in on that action.
And if you're Neil Davis, the next time you're in that kind of position, where you have someone right up in your grill and you have the ball. You need to get those elbows up, and like they teach you in JV or in high school, you got to swing those elbows back and forth. Create that space.
Trey Dill defending Chapel. Chapel misses, but gets his own rebound.
Dawson, I'm really surprised the referees are allowing Chapel to do what he does. He takes that power dribble in, and then he's leaning when he's extending his elbow out into Trey Dill. Referee shouldn't allow that. It should be a push call or charge call every time.
As Chapel gets that foul call on Michael Newfield as he went out for that shot. And so he'll go to the line.
It will send Savante Chappelle.
This will be his first trip to the line.
Savante Chapel's first trip to the line, but in the captain's last game against the Bobcats of Frostburg, Savante Chapel absolutely went off. It's what earned him CSC Player of the Week last week. He went off for 22 points. Doesn't really average that many on the season. Averages right around 8-9 points a game. So to see him go off for 22 against the Bobcats, it's great if you're a Captains fan, but as a Knights fan, you don't want him to have that hot hand that he had last time, and mainly comes from inside the paint. He's just so big, he can move anyone that's in front of him, and he gets to the foul line.
He absolutely does, and he knocks down both free throws, extends this lead to 6. Armstrong with it. Newfield on the outside. Armstrong dribbles in, out to Newfield. Armstrong for 3. Too far. Pushed back in bounds by Trey Dill, but recovered by the Captains. And a good defensive effort by the Knights as Michael Newfield gets the rebound. That was Tyler Femai going in for that layup, but misses. Armstrong to Trey Dill, the jumper from the outside. Too short. Rebounded by Nick Parks. Femai. It's to Parks. The three-point attempt is in and out for the Captains. That was number 33, Nick Parks on the attempt. Quincy Jones dribbling now. The jumper off the side of the rim, no good. Femai with it.
And Quincy Jones is trying to be a little too fancy on that last fast break attempt. He had some open passes, just decided not to do it.
What a block from Michael Newfield.
Welcome to Buena Vista, Savante Chapel. You just met Michael Newfield.
As the Captains get it right back, though, and answer with a 3. My goodness, Jason Egner with that three-pointer.
Captains shooting extremely well from beyond the arc, and like we said earlier, Knights need to get out on the shooters so much quicker than they are.
Egner now 4 of 7 from the three-point line. Absolutely killing it. Michael Newfield for 3. Too far. Trey Dill went to get it, and it'll be out of bounds on him.
Trey Dill just couldn't get a full hand on it. Just able to tip it. He was under a lot of pressure, just couldn't bring it back in.
And so we'll have immediate timeout here as the Knights now find themselves down by 9. Still very much in this one as they have fought back, had some great shooting, some great bench play. And if you're Coach Winslow right now and you see how well the Captains are shooting from the three-point line, what do? Do you just wait it out? What's the strategy?
You have to get out on those shooters so much quicker. The Captains can hurt you from inside, but the Knights have shown throughout this game that they can defend the paint extremely well. Tyler McCready's doing a great job, and Michael Newfield, like he just showed there against Savante Chapel, you can defend the paint in one-on-one situations. So instead of having your guards like Jaron Anderson or your large forwards like Trey Dill dropping into the paint, have faith in your big guys. Stay more spread out and don't allow them to have those wide open shots from the three-point line. But a lot of it is just great coaching by Coach John Krikorian of CNU. He's drawn up these plays, drawn them up in such a way where he draws us into the middle, and then they have wide open guys in the corners at the top of the key for 3. CNU shooting 6 of 15, 40% for the 3. That's sensational. The Knights need to get out on those three-point shooters much quicker than they are and have the faith in their big guys like McCready and Newfield to have and hold their own down in the blocks.
They absolutely do, and you mentioned John Krikorian of Christopher Newport University. This is his 9th season as a head coach for the Captains, whereas Coach Greg Winslow is in his first season as the head coach. We mentioned before he's been with the team for several years now underneath head coach Tony Caputo, or then coach Tony Caputo, and just took over this season. As the captains have it, Tyler Femai at the point. Gibbs dribbling in and banks it over top of Tyler McCready. Sam Armstrong with it. Just under 2 minutes left in this first half. Anderson, great pass to Tyler McCready, but will be fouled on his way up by number 1, Luther Gibbs. And you got to imagine Tyler McCready was looking for the slam there.
He had the time and his space. He had the ability to take more than 2 steps and get that power. You know he was going down for the flush. And when he does, you just can't hear anything in the night room. Whenever a night player throws down a jam, you might as well not even want to talk to your friends. Put down your phone, put down whatever you're doing, because you're going to be so focused on the floor and everything around you is just going to be a sea of white noise.
Absolutely will be. And Neil Davis is subbed out in favor of Alec Johnson, as Tyler McCready will attempt his second free throw. It is up, and it's good. That gives Tyler McCready 8 points on the night. And Tyler McCready right now 100% from the field and 100% from the free throw line.
Well, Dawson, can't do much better than perfect, can you?
Great interior defense by the Knights. Gibbs with it. 3-point attempt is short. Rebounded by Tyler Femai. Gibbs with it on the outside. Back to Femai. The shot is up, no good. It was number 4, Dalen McHugh. Went up for the shot, and they're going to call the foul on Alec Johnson. And so it'll stay here on this side of the floor with the captains.
I'm going to be blatantly honest, Dawson. I didn't see what Alec Johnson did wrong. I didn't see anything wrong with that play.
Dribbled in, but recovered by the captains. Gibbs with it. So dribbling on Anderson. Jump shot is up. Recovered by Alec Johnson. Almost had a putback slam there by McHugh for the captains. Jaron Anderson. Alec Johnson tried to pass to the post to Tyler McCready, but bounced off the foot of Luther Gibbs. But it'll stay on the Knights side of the floor. McCready gets the inbound pass. And he's blocked from behind by number 14, Tyler Trimble.
And Tyler Trimble just had the space that he needed. He had that space behind him and able to get a hand on it.
So just under 45 seconds left in this first half. The Knights down by 9. Inbounding the ball. Gets it into Tyler McCready. 13 seconds left on the shot clock. Jaron Anderson dribbling in. The jump shot is up. No good. Recovered by Tyler Femai. Tyler Femai bringing it down the court. Only 1 second separating the shot in the game clock. No doubt the captain's going to try to hold it for the last possible shot. Gibbs and Femai just basically playing catch on the exterior now. 3-point attempt is up and no good. Recovered by Tyler McCready, and that'll end the first half as number 20, Jason Egner, not able to capitalize on the three-pointer. The Knights will be down going into halftime 39-30. It started out really quickly for the captains, but the Knights were able to respond and make it only a single-digit game. And it just shows a testament to the effort of the Knights in that first half. And with Coach Winslow is Chris Fly.
Now, Coach, your team has shot fairly well from the field so far. How much can we attribute that to practice?
I don't know if we can. We practice it all the time. I think sometimes we just shoot better than others, but we started off slow again and got in a hole down 10-0, and then played them even since then. And then we cut it to 3 and kind of made a couple, we got a couple steals. And not only did we not convert, we actually turned it over and gave up something the other end. So, basketball is a game of ebb and flows, and we got to get on a little run and then sustain that.
And Coach, your team has let some open three-pointers go from the captains. What is your plan going into the halftime to better defend from the three-point line?
We switched our zones, so we've done a better job in that. They just need to keep a little better eye where the shooters are. You don't defend everybody from the three-point line, and sometimes we get in a habit of we're just going to guard the other jersey regardless. But you need to know some of those guys shoot better than others, and so you need to hawk a couple guys and then not worry about some others.
All right, Coach, thank you so much. I'll let you join your guys. And Dawson, send it back to you.
Thank you so much, Chris. And after the first half, again, Captains find themselves up 39-30. We'll be back with you after halftime. At halftime with some halftime analysis as well as some highlights from last time's game here at Knight Sports Arena where the Knights took on Salisbury. We'll be back with you in just a few moments. Sports Arena, where we have a CAC matchup for you, where it's 39-30 in favor of Christopher Newport right now. The Knights responding in that first half a lot sooner than they have in the past.
Absolutely have. They started off slow in games past, but this game against CNU, they picked up their shooting. Last game that they had against Salisbury, shooting very poorly from the start, around 26% from the field, but definitely picking up in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of similar patterns here. Again, that game was such a fun game to watch. The Knights really struggled in the first half, as we've mentioned, but had a 52-point second half. Just a storm back and took the lead by 1 at one point with about 4 minutes remaining. And it was just such back and forth, deafening action, a lot of great noise from the fans. And again, you saw the score right there after the first half, 46-23. And that 52-point second half, a comeback was miraculous.
Absolutely. It was led by everyone on that Knights team. Again, at the end of the first half, down by half, but at the end of the game, they were able to pull it out, and it was a total team effort.
Yeah, absolutely. SVU, unfortunately, falling to Salisbury by 2 points. Hoping to not have that same pattern tonight, though. Against Salisbury, they started off incredibly slow, a lot slower than today. Today, they'll pick up the pace a little bit more. Christopher Newport, though, has been very good from the three-point line, though, especially Egner. He is 3 for 8 from the three-point line, 9 points. And basically, I feel like we were talking at halftime that's the main person they really need to key on right now. That's the person that's making a big difference for Christopher Newport.
Absolutely has. Like you said, the captains have absolutely been sensational from behind the three-point arc, hovering right around 40% from the three-point line, which is a great number to have. But the Knights really need a key, like you said, on Egner, but also Marcus Carter, who's done a great job in this game, leads the team in scoring and in rebounds. And if he doesn't drive to the paint, they're going to pass it out to Egner, shoot a three almost every single time. The Knights have been able to defend down low in the paint. They just need to get out and spread out to the three-point line, and I think they'll be all right coming in the second half.
Absolutely, and with that, you know that the Knights are hurting a little bit, having Jameer Cross out of the game. He came in for about 45 seconds into the game to kind of test out his ankles. They decided to take him out in favor of Quincy Jones. But two players that are really paying big dividends right now are the new attributes to this team, Quincy Jones and Silas Slaughter. They came in, had some quick spark plug plays, quick layups, some great jumpers. And plenty of other Knights pitching in to help keep this game within reach.
Absolutely. They've done a great job because mainly no team knows what to expect from the Silas Slaughter. He's 5'10". He's a freshman. He's 5'10". Doesn't have that experience and doesn't have that height, but he's great for this Knights team so far because no one knows what to expect from him. He's been able to drain it from three. He drives it in the paint. And like you said, Quincy Jones also doing a great job during this game. They're just so unexpected from this Knights team because no one's really seen them before, but definitely a surprise scoring effort for both of those guys on the court tonight.
Absolutely. Another person who's paying big dividends for the Knights right now is Tyler McCready. He's 3 for 3 from the floor and perfect from the free throw line, so he's shooting well. So look to see the Knights give the ball to him a little bit more to start this second half to get more of that scoring effort going.
Absolutely. Tyler McCready, 6'10", always has the height advantage in almost every game that the Knights play. CNU, their tallest guy, stands at 6'8". He's a freshman at 6'8". He doesn't get a lot of numbers. Tyler McCready has the one-on-one matchup won every single time he comes on the floor, both in the offense and defensive side. Tyler McCready's already racked up 3 blocks during this game, most of them on Savante Chappell, the CEC Player of the Week last week. So, like you said, Tyler McCready expecting to have a giant effort to going into the second half and to play extremely well because he always has the size on his side, but he also has the skill to be able to do what he needs to do down there. And he's also shot amazingly from like the elbow and from mid-range.
Absolutely has. I mean, I've played open gyms with Tyler McCready where he just goes off from mid-range area. He loves, especially baseline jumpers. I'm surprised I haven't seen him shoot more of those this season because that's a sweet spot. He loves that area. And, of course, he also looked forward to seeing Jaron Anderson put forth some offensive action in there. And plenty of other players to contribute, like we mentioned, Silas Slaughter and Quincy Jones. And with that, we'll take it into the second half. That's our halftime report for you. We'll be back here in just a few minutes for the start of the second half. And we're ready to start the second half of this CAC conference matchup. As again, Christopher Newport has the lead 39-30 to start the second half. The Knights battling through a slow start to come back and make a manageable game. And Coach Winslow's team is ready to take it on. As the Knights, sorry about that, Chris, go ahead.
I'm about to say, absolutely, Dawson. The main thing separating these two teams right now is three-point shooting. CNU captain 6-17, 35.3%. Knights 2 of 8, 25%. If they want to get back in this game, they need to limit the number of three-pointers they give up to CNU and make some of their own.
As the Knights start off with it, Alec Johnson able to get out of some trouble there as he's able to get a pass to Tyler McCready. Now setting up their half-court offense. Neil Davis with it now. Trey Dill had some great shots early in the first half. Three-pointer attempt. No good off the back iron. Rebounded by Femai. That's another play that Christopher Newport really likes to use is Femai. He's such a hustle player. He's such a hustle player, and now there's a foul called on the floor. They're going to call it on number 44, Tyler McCready.
Team's first.
Tyler McCready just pushing his hips into Marcus Carter there and pushing him out of bounds. Foul call every single time there on the baseline.
Femai mishandles it but gets it back. Chappell working on McCready. Gets McCready to jump but gets it up and in. Alec Johnson with it. Neil Davis to Trey Dill. Back to Alec Johnson. He's double teamed in the paint. Tries to get inside to Neil Davis, taken away. Femai with it now. Outside to Egner for three, and that's good. And Coach Greg Winslow will call a timeout here to start off the second half. Obviously not happy with the display so far.
Absolutely not. And just a little bit of CNU's Egner. Captain shot 7 of 18 from the three-point line. He now leads scoring for CNU and for both teams in all competition. With 12 points, he shot 4 of 9 from the three-point line. 4 of 9. He shot 9 of the captain's 18. So over half of their three-point attempts come from Egner. If that's not hint enough for someone to key somebody, then I don't know what to say.
Absolutely, as the Knights did not start off the second half the way they'd like to. Now find themselves down 44-30, with a 14-point deficit. So Coach Winslow will try to adjust things here. And again, if you're just joining us, Jameer Cross not playing tonight. He started off the first 30 seconds to test out his ankles that have been bothering him this past week, but will not be participating as looks like the rest of the contest.
And Dawson, he will definitely be missed. Like we say before, he's the leading scorer for this SVU Knights team, averaging around 15.2 points per game. He's also in the top 5 in terms of rebounding. So he just does so much for this team and gives them such a spark on the offensive, defensive side with that quickness and that ability to have those highlight plays. They definitely miss his contribution to this team.
They really do, and so they'll have to work with Quincy Jones, a new addition to the team, and Silas Slaughter. We mentioned them at halftime. Neil Davis will be inbounding it. Gets it into Alec Johnson. Gibbs defending. Neil Davis working with it. Trey Dill on the outside. Inside pass to Tyler McCready, and the layup is good.
Great play in by Trey Dill to get it to Tyler McCready on there. Great vision by the freshman.
Egner to Gibbs. Savante Chappell working on McCready. Carter dribbles baseline. And it's going to be out of bounds on Marcus Carter. So the ball will go to the Knights. Quincy Jones with it. Hands it off to Trey Dill. Alec Johnson, screen from McCready. McCready from the elbow, and that's good. The elbow is his friend tonight.
And Dawson, that makes McCready 5 of 6 on the night.
Some great defense from McCready as he knocks that out. Goes back to Gibbs. Carter with it now. To Femai. Dribbling in. Out to Gibbs for 3. And that's good for the Captains. Kellen Winslow will check in for the Knights. Johnson dribbling in. They're going to call an offensive foul on Alec Johnson.
Offensive foul on number 32.
And so that'll be a second foul.
His second personal.
Looked like Johnson on that last play took that power dribble a little too soon and lowered his shoulder. The referee called it a charge. It could have gone either way. It could have been a bump in by the defender or a charge. And right now you see Captains get the ball.
And also Kellen Winslow checking in for Quincy Jones as Marcus Carter dribbles it down the court for the Captains. Agner for almost attempted a 3. Alec Johnson quickly defending. Femai to Carter. Agner for 3 is no good. Rebounded by Trey Dill. Handed quickly off to Alec Johnson. Tom McCready from the elbow, and that's good.
Well, Dawson, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Tyler McCready from the elbow has just been so consistent all day.
Makes him 6 of 7 from the floor.
Not only that, Dawson, Tyler McCready now leads both teams in scoring with 14 points.
Agner dribbling in. And they're going to call a foul on that one as Agner ends up hitting the floor. That's going to be on Neil
number
Davis.
10, Neil Davis, his first personal, team's third.
So that'll be his
Number 20,
first.
Jason Ainer shooting 2.
This will be Agner's first time to the line. First free throw is up, and it's good. That'll give him 13 points in the night. Other than the free throws, the only shots that he has shot have been 3-pointers. He has 4 for 10 for 40%.
Just about to say, Dawson, this is the first time Jason Agner has taken a shot at the basket that's not worth 3 points.
Up and no good. Trey Dill with the rebound. Gets to Alec Johnson. Hands it off to Davis. Trey Dill with it. McCready from the elbow. Again! Tyler McCready is now 7 of 8 for 16 points. He's feeling it from that elbow.
He's got 5 inches on Savante Chapel, so why not keep doing it? You know you have a higher release than he is able to get up and defend, so just keep taking that shot, and if you're consistent and have that sweet stroke, keep doing it.
That was rebounded by Tyler McCready. He now has 16 points and 5 rebounds. Tyler McCready almost taking the 3. And that layup's going to go in. But it looks like they're going to call a charge on Tyler McCready.
Offensive foul, number 44, Tyler McCready, his second personal, team's fourth foul. And checking in for the
Number 14, Tyler Trimble for the Captains will be checking in.
Dawson, that last call on McCready. First of all, can we just talk about the bravery and courage it takes from McCready to even attempt that? You're 6'10", you play center, you pump fake a 3, and somehow you get someone up in the air to think you're actually going to shoot. I don't think McCready shot but maybe 3 threes the entire season. They're able to pump fake, get your defender up, and then drive the paint like you're a point guard or a shooting guard. Just great to see, and even though he had the charge called on him, I want to keep seeing that from Tyler McCready, that courage to be able to do the things that you're not supposed to be able to do in the eyes of the opposition as a big man.
Oh, absolutely. He's feeling it tonight. He's hit 6 shots just from that elbow alone. And so, I mean, if he shot a 3, honestly, I don't think Coach Winslow would get angry. If he keep making his shots, go for it.
That's not Tyler McCready, 7 of 8 from the field so far. 7 of 8 with 16 points, 100% from the foul line. I mean, what else can you say? He's just having the night of his life so far, and you hope as a Knight fan, as Coach Winslow, that it can continue to have it and carry it on for the next remaining 15 minutes.
Absolutely. The Knights will need it as now Tyler McCready is double the points over the follower in the team with 16 points. Trey Dill has 8, Silas Slaughter has 4, and Quincy Jones has 4, and everyone else that has scored only has 2. And so Tyler McCready leading the scoring surge that is keeping this game within reach. And for the captains, we'll see number 14. If I failed to mention earlier, it was number 14, Tyler Trimble, that checked in for the captains. And the captains will have the ball now with Trimble inbounding. Tyler Femai with it. Gibbs with it to Femai. Gets it inside to Carter. Trimble working with it, and somehow gets it to fall around Tyler McCready.
Just a fingertip length away from getting another swat on that ball was Tyler McCready.
Neil Davis working with it. Barely gets it out to Kellen Winslow. Inside Tyler McCready, up and in. A great play, great pass to Tyler McCready. He's able to finish.
And that gives Tyler McCready 18 points on the night so far on 8 of 9 shooting.
Gibbs with it on the outside. Carter dribbles in on McCready. Gets him to jump and then lays it up and in.
Just saw Tyler McCready on that last play work too much toward the baseline, took that fake just a little bit too seriously. And you see the captains trying to focus in on Tyler McCready so far. They want to draw fouls on him really quick, get him in a position where Coach Winslow has to take him out.
The foul called on number 14, Tyler Trimble. Looks like he was holding on to Tyler McCready. And so for him, number 13, Grant Yates will be checking in, the 6'8 freshman from Gainesville, Virginia. Neil Davis in the corner, mishandles it, and Gibbs will fall on it. And the foul will be called on Neil Davis.
Foul zone number 10, Neil Davis.
So Sam Armstrong will check in for him.
Checking into the night for the
Second foul of the night for Neil Davis.
And checking in for the captains, number 15, Savante Chappelle.
Very uncharacteristic for him to mishandle a ball like that. He's the leader in school history for interceptions for the football team, so he has good hands. Just not that time.
With that, Dawson, he also has that football scrappy mentality, which honestly sometimes doesn't translate to the basketball court in the eyes of an official. As a football player, that's just a normal play. That's nothing. But in the eyes of a basketball official, it's a little bit too much contact for their liking.
Gibbs drills baseline and loses it, and it'll go out of bounds. And checking in for the Knights will be Bennett Canlin. Bennett Canlin was the spark of the comeback last time they were here at Knight Sports Arena against Salisbury. He didn't have a whole lot of minutes, but his aggressive play and fire on the court definitely gave his team the energy to start the comeback.
Absolutely, and Canlin has the uncanny ability for the highlight play, the high-flying mentality and style of play, which against Savante Chapel, who's not the quickest person on the court, should be great for this Knights team.
They're going to call a foul here on number 10, Tyler Femai. Looks like he was holding on to Sam Armstrong as he was trying to come across those double screens set by Alec Johnson and Bennett Canlin. Alec Johnson with it. Bennett Canlin on the outside. Dribbles in, hands it off to Trey Dill. Armstrong. And it's going to bounce off the shin of Kellen Winslow. It'll be the captain's ball.
Unfortunately, in the last possession, Bennett Canlin was looking to hand it off to Kellen Winslow. That pass just wasn't there. Kellen Winslow had a CNU captain right there on his hip. So if you're Bennett Canlin, next time you have that, you need to fake that pass and then cut in and face up your opponent as opposed to keeping him on your backside.
Femai with it. Savante Chapel ends up with Gibbs. Quick movement from this captain offense. Egner for three. No good. Rebounded by Bennett Canlin. Armstrong flying down the floor. Trey Dill to Johnson. To Canlin. Gets to Johnson. Johnson up off the backboard, no good. Rebound by Canlin, up and in.
It's a great work by Penn Canlin, able to keep up with the play and keep play or up with the ball. He thought he lost it. It looked like Savante Campbell was going to pick it up, but Bennett Campbell with great vision able to get that rebound and put it back up for 2.
Rebounded by Trey Dill over Savante Chapel. Trey Dill up and swatted by Marcus Carter. Maybe an argument could have been made of a little bit of a foul there, but looks like he got mostly ball. But it'll stay with the Knights.
And Dawson, one thing I love to see when I'm watching the game of basketball, especially with these Knights, is Bennett Canlin, his style of play and the attitude he has on the court. No matter what he does, he always wants to do better. He always has something to prove when he steps out on the court. And it's great to see that tenacity and that grit shown by a player.
Absolutely, as that ball was tipped up into the air and hit a light on the ceiling, so it'll be out of bounds and they'll stay with the Knights. It's one thing many teams have to deal with when they come here is a short ceiling relative to other stadiums. Winslow gets it out to Canlin, handing off to Armstrong and then to Johnson. Armstrong with it to Canlin. Trey Dill trying to post up now in the corner. Jumper for Trey Dill is good. That gives Trey Dill 10 points on the night, a great jumper. Captains with it now. It's a single-digit game. Carter for 3. No good. Rebounded by the Captains. Gibbs up. And that's going to be good for 2.
And Dawson, that's the Captains' 9th offensive rebound so far in this game. Both teams are tied up with 22 rebounds each. And if you're a Knights fan and if you're Knights coach Greg Winslow, that needs to change. You have so much of a height advantage at each and every position. You cannot allow those types of offensive rebounds and the board dominance the CNU has shown early on in this game.
Very true, as number 1, Luther Gibbs gets that block off of Alec Johnson's short jumper. So it'll go out of bounds. It'll be the Knights' ball after this timeout. And the Knights still only within 10. It seems every time the Knights have a play that brings a lot of momentum to their side, the Captains are able to produce a play to answer right back.
And absolutely, Dawson, that momentum for the Knights, and it's been that way through the last couple of games. They're meeting against Frostburg and against Salisbury. The Knights had moments in the games where they just showed flashes and sparks of absolute brilliance. But then, whether it be Salisbury, whether it be the Bobcats or Frostburg, come back with their own momentum play of their own. So what the Knights need to do, and what it seems to me so far, is that their momentum is only translated on the offensive side. Those big plays they have on offense, they forget about it on defense. They don't play on defense the same way they do on offense with that same fire that they have. The Knights need to be consistent on both sides of the ball. When you have that big offensive possession where you get a dunk, you get a wide open layup or an open three-pointer or a contested shot like we saw Trey Dill just do, you need to take exactly what's in your head, take that moment, bottle it up, and that's how you're going to win games. Because if you have those momentum plays and then, like you said, stop the momentum plays of the opposition, you can't be stopped.
That is very true as the Knights break out of their timeout huddle here. Coach Winslow with a smiley face tie.
Coach Winslow just bringing up the fact to us that Christopher Newport only has 6 fouls called on them this entire game, while the Knights have 11. And he's saying if you're playing man-to-man defense and we're throwing it into the paint to our big guys, Tyler McCurdy, we're driving the paint, how are more calls not being called?
In fact, his exact words were, I want to go to his clinic. And so the Knights will be with the ball here. 7 seconds left on the shot clock. Trey Dill working on Chapel. Shot is up. No good as Carter with the rebound. Femai with it. Be a foul called on number 1, Silas Slaughter. As him along with Jaron Anderson are new inputs into the game right now.
His second personal, team's 6th foul.
Inbounded by Femai. 3-point attempt for Christopher Newport. No good. Rebounded by Trey Dill. That was Nick Parks who attempted that three. Ooh, Trey Dill barely able to make that catch. Anderson to Canlin. Puts it up. Smacked out. But recovered by Jaron Anderson to Silas Slaughter.
That's the hustle plays you need to see on this Knights team.
And off to Trey Dill. Good screen from Canlin. Anderson, jumper, is out, and now is rebounded by Marcus Carter. Luther Gibbs with it.
Marcus Carter throughout this game already beating his season averages 4 rebounds. Usually picks up around 5 per game. Already has 7 in this contest.
Gibbs goes up, and that's going to go in. Alec Johnson with it now. Out to Silas Slaughter, who attempts a deep 2 off the front iron.
Not a smart shot by Silas Slaughter there. You're at 3-point range, but your toes are on the line, and so it only counts for 2. You need to either drive it in closer within your range and not take that contested shot.
Femar with it. Seeing some double teams right now by this Knights defense. Femar for 3, and that's good. Now a 15-point game. We'll see Brandon Caputo check in for the Knights. Slaughter with it. We're going to have a foul call here. The ref's going to discuss who it's on and what the call is. That'll be on number 3, Marcus Carter.
Foul is on number 3, Marcus Carter.
He'll be called for a block.
Teams into the game for the captains, number 12 and number 20. And into the game for the Knights, number 12.
Marcus Carter arguing his case with the ref on the baseline.
Marcus Carter saying to the referees, I wasn't even guarding the guy that was cutting. So how got to get a foul called on me?
Well, regardless, it'll stay with him. Or so it seems, as now the refs are going to discuss it a little bit further. But they're going to stick with the decision to put the foul on Marcus Carter. Knights be inbounding it. And taken away by Gibbs. Eventually ends up in the hands of Marquise Stubbs.
You just saw Alec Johnson try to spin it to try to get into Bennett Canlin off the bounce. You just can't do that. Bennett Canlin's surrounded by 3 guys. He's not open. You need to find another pass.
Agner from the corner. No good. Rebounded by Brandon Caputo. Trey Dill with it. Then Michael Newfield will check in for the Knights. Nice pass to give a situation, and they're going to call a foul on number 20, Jason Agner.
His first personal, team's 4th.
Now Newfield will check in for Bennett Canlin.
25, Michael Newfield.
Alec Johnson will be inbounding it for the Knights. Jaron Anderson with it. Newfield now. Caputo in the paint. Tosses it right to Gibbs as Alec Johnson is in pursuit. And he's going to foul to prevent the easy layup.
Dawson, I like that foul. You got number 1, Luther Gibbs wide open. He's going to put it up for an easy 2. Why not make him go to the line and earn those fouls? Unfortunately, it is Alec Johnson's 3rd foul of the contest, so in a little bit of foul trouble. But at the same time, you just can't let him get an easy 2 points.
Very true, especially at this point in the game when the Knights are down by 15 here, trying to get some momentum swings to go their way. First free throw is up and is good by Gibbs. Sam Armstrong will check in for the Knights. In for Alec Johnson.
For Sammy Armstrong.
Second free throw is up, and it's good. Brandon Caputo will bring it back up the court.
Dawson, that brings the captain so far on the night 6 of 7 from the foul line, 85.7%. Really good from the charity stripe.
They're going to call the foul on Jaron Anderson. They're going to say that he stuck his back out or to knock over a defender.
More than that, Dawson, referee saying that Jaron Anderson stuck his backside out while trying to hand it off to Sam Armstrong. I didn't see it personally, but the referee saw it differently, and there's the one whose opinion matters. And the referees calling tonight's game include Haywood Bostic, Kendall Ridley, and DeWood Mills.
Yeah, one thing I could see happening with what they saw is whenever a player is trying to hand off to a teammate, oftentimes they'll try to extend the ball away from their body to hand it off. And so maybe he probably did that, but the thing is, Jaron Anderson was the one receiving the handoff. And so maybe, with that being said, I'm not sure. But again, we're not exactly in the same angle that the refs are, so we'll trust our judgment on that one.
Well, Jaron Anderson was trying to hand it off to Sam Armstrong. Jaron Anderson dribbling the ball to the left side of the key and tried to hand it off to Sam Armstrong. Stuck his backside out just a little bit, caught the run. I think it was Luther Gibbs that he cut off. Referees called it a foul. Dawson, I just want to point to something on the CNU side of things. Luther Gibbs, leading scorer right now for CNU for this game, still 2 points behind Tyler McCready for the entire contest. He shot 6 of 8 field goal percentage. 6 of 8 from the field, 2 of 3 from three-point line, and 2 of 2 from the foul line. Remarkable shooting by Luther Gibbs. And it's only matched by Tyler McCready, who we haven't seen in the last couple minutes, who shot 8 of 9 from the field. He hasn't shot any three-pointers yet, but maybe we'll see a miracle happen and him actually release one from behind the arc, because anything can happen. And 2 of 2 from the foul line.
Speaking of Tyler McCready, you saw on the bottom of your screen, he is checking in for the Knights. As the captains will have the ball, Tyler Femai will be inbounding it to Marcus Carter.
Probably the only time you'll ever see Tyler McCready 6'10", whose head is at the bottom of the screen.
Very true. Egner wanting the three-point shot. Anderson getting in his face. Gibbs. Now to Femai. Gibbs hands it off to Femai. Goes up for the layup, and it's good.
Dawson, a lot of the driving layups that the captains have been getting so far, they've just worked it right through the teeth of the defense, then down on the baseline for a reverse. Our big guys haven't been able to stop it because they want to guard the paint as much as they can and give up the baseline. But the guards of CNU have just been so scrappy and so sneaky throughout this game.
And they're going to call that a charging foul on Jaron Anderson. And that'll be his third foul.
And that brings the foul total to 8 against CNU and 14 against the Knights.
It's very frustrating for Coach Winslow. He's expressed that multiple times here on this bench as the captains will have the ball. Femai with the ball. Femai now has 8 points. He is 3 for 5 from the field, 2 for 3 from three-point range. Gibbs to Egner. And that's Stubbs fumbling with it. Egner attempts the three. No good off the back iron. Rebounded by Jaron Anderson. Sam Armstrong with it now. For three. And that's good!
It's a great way by Sam Armstrong to take this game by the scruff of the neck and just take the shot that he wanted to take.
If there was ever a needed shot, that was it right there in this game for SVU. As Egner attempts the three. No good. Rebounded by Brandon Caputo. Hands it off to Jaron Anderson. Gets into Neil Davis. Dribbles in. and just absolutely draped by 3 defenders as he draws the foul.
Is it possible for 3 players to get a foul called on him? Because I think that needs to happen right about now.
That is true. He's surrounded, so you just basically have to pick one.
Neil Davis is on the line for the Knights, shooting 2.
First free throw for Neil Davis is up. No good. That is Sam Armstrong's first 3-point made of the night, just the possession before. He is 1 for 2 from the 3-point line.
Before that last shot by Neil Davis, Knights were 100% from the foul line.
Second one's up, and it's good. Game's now within 15. Under 6 minutes remaining. Inside to Savante Chapel, working on McCready. Up and blocked by Tyler McCready.
Has to be frustrating if you're Savante Chapel. Used to having your way at every game you play, but now you've run into Tyler McCready.
Armstrong dribbling in. Neil Davis to McCready, who throws it up, almost gets it to fall on a circus shot, but is fouled.
Fouls on the captains, number 15.
That'll now make him 8 of 10 from the field. Shooting 80% from the field tonight. That's easy math right there.
Amazing numbers by Tyler McCready, and more than that, he shot 2 of 2 from the foul line so far.
First one from McCready is up. Short, no good.
I had to go and say something, didn't I, Dawson?
It's the commentator's curse. So, McCready, we apologize. Second one. Is up and good. Knights down by 14. Well, a timeout called by head coach John Krikorian of CNU.
And this will just give Coach Winslow a little bit of time to talk to his guys. The bulk of the scoring has come from Tyler McCready. Tyler McCready has 19 points. The second most for this night is Trey Dill, who has 10. Other than that, most guys are in single digits. You got 5 for Sam Armstrong, 4 for Silas Slaughter, and 4 for Quincy Jones. We haven't seen them score since the first half. If you're the Knights, you need more guys to step up. Tyler McCready, yes, while he's done a great game so far, there's only so much one player can do. They're gonna sooner or later, the captains are gonna start keying Tyler McCready and not let him go one-on-one with Savante Chapel. They're gonna start keying him, and then that's when, if you're the Knights, you need to pass it out and shoot better from mid-range and 3.
And the people that get that done would be Sam Armstrong and Jaron Anderson. Sam Armstrong hit a 3 just a few moments ago, but Jaron Anderson being held to just 2 points so far tonight. So hopefully get him to be a spark plug here within the last 5.5 minutes.
And surprised that Jaron Anderson hasn't even attempted the 3 in the entire game.
He's usually very fearless from that range. Chapel in the paint, blocked by Tyler McCready. And they're going to say it was out of bounds on McCready, and it'll stay with the captains.
Savante Chapel, who scored 22 points in CNU's last game against Frostburg, has now been held to only 6.
That's Carter from the corner for 3. Rebounded by Parks. The corner 3 for Parks is good. Parks having an all-around great offensive possession for himself there. Trey Dill to Armstrong. Screen from McCready. Attempts the jumper, and it's going to roll out. It's going to be out of bounds off of the captains. So Jaron Anderson will be inbounding it for the Knights.
In for the captains, number 1, Luther Gibbs.
Luther Gibbs will sub in for number 10, Tyler Femai. As the Knights will keep the same squad on the floor. Kick ball, it'll stay with the Knights. And the crew on the floor for the Knights right now is Jaron Anderson, Tyler McCready, Trey Dill, Brendan Caputo, and Sam Armstrong. Passed him inbound to Tyler McCready. Corner for Sam Armstrong for three. No good off the back iron. Rebounded by Marcus Carter. Gibbs to Chappell. Carter with it now. Shot clock down to 1. But Carter able to sink it at the buzzer.
And that'll give Carter 13 points on the night so far. We have 3 captains that have exceeded double digits. Luther Gibbs has 16, Marcus Carter now has 13, and Jason Agner has 13 as well. They're so close to having 4 guys in double digits because Tyler Femai has 8 points.
Trey Dillon successful in that three-pointer, and so they're going to call a foul there as Marcus Carter was driving to the paint. The foul will be called on Jaron Anderson.
21, Jaron Anderson, his 4th.
That'll be his 4th foul of the night. It's been a frustrating night for him
Immediate time.
so far with 4 fouls and only 2 points. That's one with a timeout here.
Absolutely has to be frustrating for Jaron Anderson. He averages decent numbers game in and game out. Struggled with some injuries this season, but to have this poor of a showing in this game, it has to be frustrating because it hasn't been for his lack of shots. Or it actually has been for his lack of shots. He hasn't put up nearly as many shots as he should. Maybe if he starts pulling the trigger a little bit more, obviously you'll see his numbers go up because with more shots comes more opportunities to put points on the board, obviously. But we just need to see some more Knights step up and take a place in this game. We've seen Tyler McCready do it, and we've seen Trey Dill do it for a majority of this game. More Knights need to step up. We've seen the captains, a lot of their guys step up on the offensive side and defensive side, but the main things for the Knights right now need to focus on boxing out, and you can't limit yourself to being a one-dimensional team by handing it in to Tyler McCready every single time. Yes, he's getting it done, but like I said earlier, someone else needs to step up and take this game by the scruff of the neck. We've seen Sam Armstrong attempt to do it. If he keeps doing that, I feel like Sam Armstrong can relieve the pressure on Tyler McCready and get the Knights back in this game.
You talk about boxing out, the Knights are being out-rebounded as far as offensive rebounds is concerned. The Knights only have 5 offensive rebounds, whereas Christopher Newport has 10. And so that's giving him second chance opportunities for those three-pointers like we saw with Nick Parks earlier, just where he got himself an offensive rebound and then right away had a 3 from the corner.
Well, Marcus Carter for CNU has 8 rebounds. He's 6'2". The ability of this captain's team to deny opportunities by the Knights to box out is just absolutely amazing. Every time they miss a shot, it seems like their 5 guys turn into 10 guys and they'll get that rebound no matter what. So the Knights just need to box out, just those fundamentals of basketball, boxing out and not limiting your possessions to being a one-dimensional team.
As that first free throw from Marcus Carter is up and good. Second one is up. No good off the back iron. Rebounded by Tyler McCready. Brandon Caputo bringing it up the court now. A screen set by McCready. Hands it off to Armstrong. The jumper off the front of the rim. Rebounded by McCready, but stripped away by the captains.
Looks like McCready just lost control of it as he was bringing it down to his hip.
He had a couple defenders on him, which made it difficult for him to possess the ball anywhere. And that one's up and good for Tyler Trimble. Brandon Caputo with it. Anderson dribbling in. And that one's off the glass and in.
That's what we want to see from Jaron Anderson, the confidence to be able to drive it into the paint, not worry about injury, and just put it in the basket.
And that gives him 4 points in the night. And that was a nice block from the freshman Trey Dill.
In for the captains, number 4, Dallin McHugh. And number
But it'll
22,
stay with the captains as it went out of bounds off of Trey Dill.
And the 2 leading scorers for the captains are now taking a seat on the bench, Luther Gibbs and Marcus Carter.
Trimble and blocked by McCready. But Trimble recovers it. Parks to Agner. And they reset the shot clock after the block. So the refs will have to fix that with the scores table. And so it'll go down to 6 seconds in the shot clock. So it'll speed things up here for the captains as Neil Davis checks in for number 24, Trey Dill. We'll also have Bennett Canlin substitute in for Tyler McCready.
Shame to see Tyler McCready head to the bench with around 2 minutes left to go in this game because Tyler McCready has 19 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 blocks. 3 rebounds and 3 blocks away from a triple-double.
It's been an impressive night for him statistically for sure, but his Knights team looking for a spark as they get one with that shot clock violation by the captains. We'll also have number 5, Walker Lima, check in for the Knights.
In for the captains, number 35.
Walker's a freshman guard from Summerville, South Carolina.
And in for SNU.
They're getting onto him because he was wearing a long sleeve white shirt, and apparently that is not allowed. And so instead, number 20, Austin Wood, will sub in for Jaron Anderson.
This is just one of the things at basketball. It just depends on the referee because it used to be you could wear an undershirt. It just couldn't be the same color or couldn't be a different color than your jersey. And then apparently now it's long sleeves too. So the rule just keeps on changing. Honestly, I don't believe it makes a difference. Walker Lima, his white shirt compared to his white jersey.
Yeah, either way, they will make him change, but Brandon Caputo gets fouled in that play. That was by number 22, Elijah Bowens, and he'll send Caputo to the line.
Is Brandon Caputo shooting 1-1.
And Caputo's first free throw is up and good. Second free throw is up. Off the back iron, no good. Rebounded by Trimble. Now handled by Elijah Bowens. Trimble. Now Brock Guyman. Trimble in the paint. Up, no good, but rebounded by the captains and put in by number 4, Dalen McHugh. A wild pass goes out of bounds over, or out of the outstretched hands of Austin Wood. The captains with it now. Just under 2 minutes left to play. Got to back out to Bowens. Caputo defending. Trimble fumbles it a little bit. Bennett Canlin on him. That one's up and rolls in for the captains. Make it 75-52. Armstrong with it. Dribbles into the paint. Up and a putback dunk by Bennett Canlin.
Great hustle play by Bennett Canlin. His team is obviously down, but that's just a way to get your spirit back into it.
Let's get some good positive play in here by his bench players. As Trimble answers back with a layup. And they respond. And the refs are going to fix the game clock here, put back another second. Make it 51.6 seconds left to play in the second half. Caputo working it. Down the floor against number 22, Elijah Bowens. Neil Davis. Able to maintain control, gets out to Caputo. Dribble drive, Canlin for 3. Off the front iron, rebounded by the captains. So shot clock and game clock barely half a second apart. In fact, no shot clock here. And the captains will just opt to let the clock run out here. And that'll put an end to this CSC matchup here at Knight Sports Arena and an end to this doubleheader we've had today. The captains of Christopher Newport University taking this one 77-54.
And Dawson, if you're the Knights, there's a lot of things you can take from this game that you did extremely well. You shot well from the floor. You made your post-game dominant. That's what you've needed to do this entire season. So, yes, you come out of this with a loss, but you lose to the number 18 team in the nation. And there's a lot of things you take from that, like your great shooting, your great presence and defense in the paint, and your defense or your presence in the paint on the offensive side.
Absolutely. And again, we thank you so much for joining us on the Knight Sports Network. Again, I'm Dawson Weidrich with Christopher Fly signing off, and go Knights.